Adua TV, bringing good things to life.
Many thanks to you for staying with us on Adwa Television. This is PM Ghana. First off, let me take the opportunity to say a happy new year to you. Of course, we haven't met, we haven't spoken live on this platform since the beginning of the year. I believe that your Xmas and your 2021, especially with us on PM Ghana, was fruitful. I'll take this opportunity again to say a big thank you to the entire team who have helped make PM Ghana a successful show, a young and a growing show. Of course it is, but the strides that we have made, considering some of the topics of discussions that we bring to you, on considering some of the guests that we have brought your way, going all the way into Parliament and speaking to some other international dignitaries as well, has in all, and with your help and your constructive criticisms and help, and also some suggestions coming in here and there, made PM Ghana a beautiful show that it has been. Well, this year, 2022, promises to be amazing, of course, and we'll continue to give you the best content with all our might and with all our will. And we promise as well to give you an undiluted points of when it comes to conversations here on PM Ghana. My name is your most humble servant, Reginald Addy. I haven't changed much from the last year. The only change I am making is I am putting in is to make a resolution to be better off than I was last year. And I pray that the Lord himself helps me, and with your help I sincerely would be able to overcome this whatever challenges I face in 2021 as a person and as a host of your favorite political analysis show, PM Ghana. Well, let me begin by indicating that, of course, we're expecting to head into Parliament. When the action begins, we'll be bringing you all of those updates. In the meantime, there is a matter that is all over the waves. We've heard about teacher unions going on strike here and there, and tonight we would want to throw our focus basically on education in Ghana, and we'll be having a conversation with IFES. IFES is the Institute for Education Studies, and they have conducted a research than their homework, and they came out with this should we call it a release. And in this release, they have enumerated some particular specific items that are of utmost concern to us as a country that is bothered about education, as a country that should be concerned about education. This same administration that has introduced a lot of reforms in our educational sector is deemed to be one of those governments that is very passionate about education, for which reason we saw the introduction of free SHS. Yes, we have free SHS, and free SHS in itself has brought a lot of reforms. The entire policy in itself is a reform. Now, the reforms that follow thereof are numerous, and one of those reforms just recently is the introduction of a new curriculum. And then away from that, we had the introduction, which is the most recent, of the semester regime. Now, this has seen a lot of backlashes from the public, specifically teachers and the parents, and subsequently, if it would follow in, then we would have the children, the people as well, lamenting. We will divert the conversation into this field. In the meantime, we will look at the release by IFEST, look at the nitty-gritties of it, and why we should be concerned about some of those pointers that they brought out to us. This I'll be serving you when I'm joined in by my guest via Zoom. My guest is quite far away currently, and we can't hold on with the conversation. We have to bring it to you either ways. So we're going to have that conversation via Zoom, and we would see how best together, yourself and myself, we can hold down education and perhaps joining in the voice of putting in some reforms educational sector. My name is Reginald Addy once again, and this is PM Ghana here on Adwa Television. We'll take a quick turnaround. We'll come back and we'll dive straight into the conversation. Don't go anywhere.
Blue City is a manufacturer and supplier of high-quality fashion accessories. We design and make quality bow ties, flying ties, lapel pins, ladies' brooches, fabric necklaces, African wares, and so much more for your weddings, schools, institutions, bands, choir, singing groups, individuals, and so many more. We use both African print and foreign fabrics to make your beautiful accessories for you. Oh yeah! Contact us via call or WhatsApp or SMS on 0240-926-564. Locate us at Odoko Official Town opposite Emils Preparatory School. Check us out on social media, Facebook and Instagram at Blue City Fashion. Blue City, creativity and style.
Announcements on Adwa TV. Contact Adwa TV for your general announcements, proclamations and publications, job vacancies, etc. at a very affordable rate. Call 050-92-57754, 020-9494-258, or visit our marketing desk at the work premises. Adwa TV, bringing good things to life.
Welcome aboard the safest airline in Africa. With industry-leading safety measures to protect your well-being. The first in Africa to earn a diamond standard of safety. Offering a more contactless, safe, and seamless experience. Delivered with a smile by Africa's first fully vaccinated crew. Creating special memories that bring the joy back to flying, so you can continue making memories with your loved ones. Book your flight with Rwandair today. Rwandair, the safest airline in Africa.
Rwandair, fly the dream of Africa.
Still watching PM Ghana. Well, as you can see, we are live on Zoom right now, and I'm here with a research fellow for the Institute of Education Studies, Institute for Education Service, IFES, in the person of Mr. Barnabas Addy Amanfo. Mr. Amanfo, good evening, and thanks to you for joining us tonight on PM Ghana. I must say that I'm very grateful for your time with us this evening. Now, for those who do not know iFest, kindly share with us so that people would know your background and what you are into, what you do exactly.
Okay, thank you, Reginald, and thank you. Good evening to your viewers. As you rightly said, as a research fellow, iFest, the full meaning for iFest is Institute for Education Studies. And it was formed in 2013. Initially was called Aviam Africa. And basically, iFest is into research, policy, debate, and others. What we do is that we inform policy as education, what drives our education, what drives our economy, everything about education. iFest, we are into it. We bring out publications as and when necessary, and we try to promote educational system of the country. So we shape educational policies and programs.
Well, interesting thing that you guys are doing there. Of course, in my opening, I indicated that to attack or to build a nation, you would probably have to attack education. And how you handle it would go better or otherwise for you. Now, I have chanced on the release that iFest came out with on 4th January. I beg your pardon, I had to take my spectacles off. Let me quickly fix it in. And this is about pursuing data-driven. iFest New Year message: pursue data-driven targeted policy interventions in the education sector. First off, I have my own reservations about this release that I'm going to share with you. But first off, what inspired this release? You began, of course, with a new year, wishing people, a new year message, wishing people a prosperous year. But then quickly you dive into educational policies and decisions, and you give us data amongst other things. What inspired this very release?
Okay, thank you, Reginald. As I said in the beginning, ever since iFest was formed as an independent research organization, we have observed a trend in the Ghanaian education system where policymakers actually make policy interventions and programs based on, for me, I would say, based on their emotions and feelings.
Wow.
Without being driven by research. When you study research in any institution, what you are told is that research informs policy. So every policy in the any civilized country like ours, every education policy, now I'm limiting myself to education, but every policy decision that as a country that we come out with should be driven, should be informed by research, should be informed by data. So you ask yourself, what does the data say? So based on this, then that we should have a change in our policy direction so that we wouldn't just be ticking the box. That is exactly what we do. We tick the box. just to show the people that we have done A, we have done B, we have done C. As to how qualitative that is none of the business of the policymakers. And therefore, we decided that as a New Year message, let's remind them that our policies should be driven and directed and dictated by data.
Well, so in providing such data, you tell us the number of PTTR, that is people trained teacher ratio. Is this an area that you think that we are lacking in as a country? Because we are in an administration, or we are under an administration that tells us the number of teachers that they have employed, amongst other things. However, you give us a concern in that area. You say we should be worried about that. Now, what should be the concern when it comes to pupil trained teacher ratio?
Okay, thank you, Reginald. It's a major issue when it comes to people teacher ratio. But here we have qualified it, people trained teacher ratio.
So
when
the
it comes to a teacher,
in there refers to the teacher, a trained teacher.
Yes, professional teacher, trained teacher. We are not just talking about picking SHS graduates or whoever, but we are talking about trained teacher ratio. And if you look at the trend, the data, Reginald, it's not the best. Literature has shown that when it comes to the policy implementers at the grassroots, when decisions and policies are framed in the capital, nation's capital, Accra or wherever, it is the teachers that implement these policies at Pumbrugu, Yoyo, Buntebufuo, Manson, Adoberua, wherever, East Legon, wherever that you can think of. It is the teacher in the classroom. So if we bring policies day in and day out, programs of whatever kind, design whatever educational resources and programs without teachers, without trained teachers, then it's a problem. And if you look at the data, and this is not coming from IFEST, this is a data that Ghana Education Service, Ministry of Education is sitting on. That the ratio is not the best. So we gave an example when you read our report. When you take Accra, Kumasi, Brahafo, Central Region, it ranges 90 to 110 per teacher. People teacher ratio. And this is way above. And let me use below the internationally acclaimed, and now even the GS itself required figures. We are not talking about class size. We are talking about teacher, student, and or people ratio. And the emphasis was on early childhood. When we talk of early childhood, we are talking about the crèche, the KG, and early stages of the primary. And this is where the problem is. This is the foundational level of our education system. And this is where we have the chunk of the problem in terms of the people trained teacher ratio.
Well,
so it's a problem.
This situation, even by your report, you say that according to the Ghana Education Service Fact Sheet 2020, even though the northern region itself is densely, has a lower share of children with fundamental reading and numeracy skills, the densely populated Ashanti region has the greatest number of children who are not learning. Now, there is a concern here. IFES is focused on education. You're talking about children who are not learning. Now, where do we find these children who are not learning? Because we know that when we send boys to school, children to school, obviously, it is all about learning. What actually qualifies that statement of children who are not learning? Are they the children that we would usually find on the streets? Are they the children that are in the classrooms that we believe are not learning substantially as they should be?
I thank you very much, Reginald. I just appreciate your understanding and of education and even your choice of words. That's a very good work that you are doing. Yes, when we talk about children that are not learning, let me make this statement. In education, we say that teaching has not occurred unless learning takes place. Okay. So as a teacher, I can stand and teach children for 20 hours. If I went there, my objective in the lesson was for the children to know or to be able to recite A to Z. And after 20 hours, the children cannot still do this. I cannot stand anywhere and say I have taught. Education principle, we say teaching has not occurred unless learning takes place. So what we are saying is that the education system is run or guided by a curriculum. So at the end of every term, at the end of every year, the education system, an assessment is conducted. So it is based on this criterion assessment that we are able to know that the children are not learning. So when we say children are not learning, we are not talking about children that are not in school. We are talking about children that have enrolled in school, the content that they are supposed to master. When you try to assess them, the mathematicians will say cost 90. So recently there was this NSAT, the National Standardized Test, where we are supposed to identify the learning gaps. So the children are supposed to take a test where we are going to find out their numeracy skills and their reading skills. And there have been several research conducted by NGOs and even GS and Ministry of Education themselves. And the reports have always been skewed to the fact that children are not learning. So children are not learning means that they are not able to master the content at their level. So class 2 people, the things that class 2 people are supposed to know, when you gather these children, this percentage of them will not be able to tell or will not be able to exhibit such characteristics. So that's why we say they are not learning.
Interesting philosophy that you're backing all of this with. Now, if we take a careful look at children who are not learning in the country, even though they are having education, as you put it, education has not occurred if there is no learning, and we take into account the lack or the gap in trained teacher to student ratio. What would we say as the actual cause of the students who may not be learning, the children who may not be learning? Is it as a result of the gap in there between the trained teacher and the children or the students? Is it as a result of other factors that you have mentioned, like the infrastructural gap, amongst other things? What could be the cause of that gap that we're experiencing for as children are not learning?
Okay, thank you, Reginald. I would say that the causes are multifaceted, and our time will not permit us to digest all of them, but at least let me just outline 2 or 3 of them. There are several factors that influence learning, and one of them, let me say, is the teacher personality. When we talk of teacher personality, Reginald, you just cast your mind back to your primary JHS all those days. Trust me, it is on record that when a student likes a teacher, they learn their subject. It is translated into learning their subject. So if I'm your mathematics teacher, if you don't like me, it is also possible that you hate my subject. So what we are saying is that, so when I talk of teacher personality, I'm putting everything about the teacher, his professionalism, his PCK, pedagogical content knowledge, and everything together. A lot of our teachers, as you remember that I qualified it, in the schools are not trained. So what happens is that, for example, I'm just an example. I might have even been a graduate. I've attended university, but I was not trained as a teacher. Right. I went to university, I did my chemistry. I was not trained as a teacher. So when certain factors come into play after university, I may decide to go for teaching. So a lot of these, so we have a lot of graduates who are into teaching, but they are not professional teachers. So the rudiments of teaching, they lack it. So they can spend hours with children. The children will not be learning. So you can just cast your mind back. You can say that, this teacher is very good. His knowledge is good. But when it comes to delivery, efficiency, skills, it will be lacking. So that is one problem. Then we also have another factor called the children's background. That is parental influence. All things being equal, children that are coming from homes that are educogenic. Educogenic means that the parents support the children's education. When the children come home, they have light to learn. When they come home, parents support them to finish their homework. When they are supposed to buy a book, the parents are ready to provide, and all other things. When we have a home like that, as compared to other homes, where the children don't have tables to learn, books, they go to school with tattered clothes and others, this can also affect learning. And if you see the report, you see that the rural areas normally have this problem, where the parents don't really see the importance in education. They don't see how they should even support their children's education. So that is also one problem. And currently, we can also say that for ever since the standardized curriculum was introduced at the primary level, the truth of the matter is that there are no textbooks. They are dealing with what we call manuals that the teachers are using. So when you find children in this situation, there's a Japanese, let me say, proverb or cliche that says that when I hear, I forget. When I see, I remember. But when I do, I understand. So when children don't have access to the books will permit them to see and to do. But it is the teachers that are just trying to use manuals and others. Here, the problem, Reginald, is that we are talking about reading skills and numeracy skills. And the textbooks that the children are supposed to have are not there. So this can also account for the negative trend. So there are several of those factors that,
well, I like you said, time will not permit us to go through all of those factors. So let's come to a point where you began suggesting, some measures. Now, you mentioned that it is worth noting that the national average for classroom needing major repairs at a basic level of 21% regions such as Bono Northern region, amongst other things. Now, of course, apart from basic school infrastructure that need repairs, we also have schools and the trees. You are a research fellow, and per your submissions, I can tell that you are well vested in education as well. Now, this also means that in your quest to come out with such releases, you delve into policies from the government, amongst other things. This current administration and previous administrations have done their bit to curb the menace of school under trees. Now, the issue of schools that need repairs, I'm talking about those classrooms or class units that the students would have to vacate or run away home anytime the weather changes. Now, What is the end price that we have to pay? These things we know. You have also indicated in your research. What we want to find out, as much as it's obvious, how is this going to affect the long run, the proper education of the child and subsequently the nation as large?
Thank you, Reginald. As I said, let me state it again that I appreciate your line of questioning very much. That's great. Let me give you a thumbs up. Yes, what we are saying is that I think you have given the background, and even I get a lot of understanding from there. Schools under trees, and when we talk of infrastructure, we have soft infrastructure and hard infrastructure. So here, your question was more on the hard infrastructure, where classrooms, teaching and learning materials, and those things, with specific focus on schools under trees. If you check on the manifesto of NDC, if you check the manifesto of NPP, and if you listen to a lot of their communicators on radio and TV, the argument has always been which of them has built a lot of schools. But the question that I, as an educationist, will ask is, what is the effect? What is the effect? At the end of the day, we still have schools under trees. Trust me, Reginald, due to something that I do move around the country in education. I normally conduct what you call off-campus teaching practice. And when you go around and you witness for yourself what is actually happening in terms of educational infrastructure, we cannot say our governments over the years have not done anything. No, we can't say that. But what we can say is that maybe our best is not enough, because we still have children that are learning under trees. And the effect, as you wanted to know, is simple. It cuts down what we call instructional hours. It cuts down the contact hours. There are standard instructional hours, contact hours that children are supposed to meet. For example, when we talk of contact hours, we are looking at from 8 to 3 p.m. That is what we call the contact hour, the period within which children are supposed to be in school. So if as a result of rain, as a result of wind or whatever, because schools are under trees, there are some of the areas, there's what we call cluster of communities with one school. So about 5 communities, they don't have schools for themselves. There's a school at the center where they all enjoy. So when it rains or is about to rain, at 12 p.m. or 11 a.m., they have to close the children so that they can go to their various areas. When this happens, the contact hours has been cut short. And this, when it is in the raining season, it will not be a day. And when you put all these contact hours in an academic year together, Reginald, the consequence is very damning.
So that would be a focus on
measure it.
The instructional hours would have been reduced as a result of these challenges.
As those challenges, and automatically it affects learning.
All right.
The contact hours will affect the instructional hours. The instructional hours are the periods that the teachers spend in teaching the children.
Great.
So it will automatically
be hold on. Let's hold on to this note. I'm happy that we've touched on contact hours and instructional hours, because when we resume from this break, we are going to touch on a particular aspect of policies that I think would bother you a lot, and in fact should bother Ghanaians and our viewers as well. We'll go for a quick turnaround. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation with Mr. Addy Amanfo. Do stay tuned.
Blue City is a manufacturer and supplier of high-quality fashion accessories. We design and make quality bow ties, flying ties, lapel pins, ladies' brooches, fabric necklaces, African wares, and so much more for your weddings, schools, institutions, bands, choir, singing groups, individuals, and so many more. We use both African print and foreign fabrics to make your beautiful accessories for you. Oh yeah! Contact us via call or WhatsApp or SMS on 0240 926 564. Locate us at Odoko Official Town opposite Emil's Preparatory School. Check us out on social media, Facebook and Instagram at Blue City Fashion. Blue City, creativity and style.
Announcements on Adwa TV. Contact Adwa TV for your general announcements, proclamations and publications, job vacancies, etc. at a very affordable rate. Call 05092 57754 020-9494-258 or visit our marketing desk at the work premises. Adwa TV, bringing good things to life.
Welcome aboard the safest airline in Africa. With industry-leading safety measures to protect your well-being. The first in Africa to earn a diamond standard of safety. Offering a more contactless, safe, and seamless experience. Delivered with a smile by Africa's first fully vaccinated crew. Creating special memories that bring the joy back to flying, so you can continue making memories with your loved ones. Book your flight with Rwandair today. Rwandair, the safest airline in Africa.
Rwandair, fly the dream of Africa.
Well, many thanks to you for joining us back. In case you just joined us, this is PM Ghana, of course. This is where we've reached the gap between the lawmakers and the populace. Now, speaking on behalf of the populace in seeking proper policies for education, research-based, data-backed policies for education in the country, as a voice from the Institute for Education Services, IFES, Mr. Barnabas Adai Amanfo. Mr. Amanfo, thank you very much for joining us. And let me quickly remind our viewers that this is a Zoom conversation we are having. And I would have to apologize for the compromise in video quality. We have to compress so that this video can run smoothly, of course. But it is the import of the conversation. And I must say, Mr. Amanfo, your submissions, my producer himself is even well pleased with your submissions. Now, a submission in the release from IFEST is a concern that you said that we would also want to bring to the attention of the ministry, that is the Ministry of Education, that lessons should be learned from the implementation of standard-based curriculum to ensure that the rollout of the common core curriculum, CCC, is devoid of challenges. Are you currently facing, or before the introduction of some new curricula, facing some challenges in the curriculum that you were using, in teaching students, people, if I would put it that way?
Okay, thank you, Reginald. The truth is, let me take your viewers through what is the standard-based curriculum. Now, Ghana at the pre-tertiary level, we are running, we're going to run 2 curriculums. That is, from KG to primary 6, they are currently going through the standard-based curriculum. So DS, they have started the implementation. And now the next is the JHS, which is going to run up to SHS 2. And they are also going to run the CCP, that is the Common Core Program. So we are just advising policymakers that since the standards-based curriculum has already begun, at least for 2 years now, we have seen initial implementation challenges. And we pray that now that the Common Core is going to begin, the mistakes or the things that we did that did not help in the initial implementation of the standard-based curriculum should not be repeated going forward. So as part of your question, we're asking that, have we faced any challenge in the implementation of the standard-based curriculum, that is the KG1 to primary 6? Have we faced any challenge? The truth of the matter is that yes, we have faced a few of them. And the clear one is the lack of textbooks, where new curriculum have been introduced without the textbooks from government. The private individuals have taken upon themselves and they have published certain books. And trust me, Reginald, you cannot trust the authenticity of such. I'm not in any way, but not all parents can afford such books from the bookshops and others. So it is important that government would provide, because it is government policymakers that had the dream. So how they conceived it.
Okay, so we have Mr. Addy Amanfo back on the line. So we were losing you a bit. You were touching on those challenges in the curriculum. But since the line went pitchy a bit, and considering the remaining time that we have left, now let's look at not the challenges in the curriculum in itself, but the challenges in implementation of these curricula that you have, the current administration, GES under the current administration introducing. How feasible or otherwise has it been for the major stakeholders in the educational field? Was your research able to make any findings in these cases?
Yes, as I was saying, with the implementation, curriculum change we have done as a country, we have always been introducing changes and innovations into our curriculum. When we talk of curriculum, for the sake of your viewers, all that we mean is the experiences children go through in school. I'm not talking about syllabus. Syllabus is just a component of. So when we say that we are changing our curriculum, we are looking at everything that the children do. So for us as a country to make changes is important. But we have the design of the curriculum, the implementation and assessment or evaluation of it. And the part called the implementation is very important. It has its challenges and all that. And if you fail to acknowledge those steps, the implementation will not be effective. And that is what we're trying to caution the ministry and the GES, that the agencies that are in charge of this. And as you asked, in the beginning, or with the beginning of the standard-based curriculum, we have identified a lot of challenges, and I was outlining some of them: the lack of textbooks, the preparation that was given to the teachers, whereby a lot of the teachers that we spoke to did not have adequate understanding of what they were required to do with the new curriculum. So we were advising that some of these things should not be repeated with the introduction or coming in of the Common Core program, which is beginning this academic year.
Well, great, interesting. Now, a typical amongst the policies that affect education, for which you have put up this write-up, seeking for a pursuance of the data-driven, targeted policy interventions in the educational sector. An intervention in the educational sector, according to GES, they say that it is going to help the teachers. It is going to be beneficial to the students as well. So the GES overall, the introduction of a semester system to take over the trimester system in our education is key. Now, this has been greeted with a lot of backlashes, if I will put it that way, especially from teachers. Now, several teacher unions have kicked against it. They are lamenting. Meanwhile, GES says that it consulted with broader stakeholders. Now, what is your personal view about this change in the trimester system?
Okay, thank you, Reginald. The issue is that
Hello, Mr. Manfo.
As a country, at our basic level, we have the RAM STEM, without a break, no vacation. At the end of the year, we promote the children. But what is the wisdom behind breaking the year into terms? You ask yourself, and there is a psychological reason behind it. With every education system, Reginald, your viewers should note that we have something we call historical foundation, the history behind the education system. Then we have the philosophical foundations. Then we have the sociological foundation. So American education system, their curriculum will be different from Ghana because of their sociological background. That is why when you see somebody who's schooled in Canada and somebody who's schooled in Germany, their attitudes and behaviors may be different because of the environment they schooled. So that's what we call the sociological foundation. So we have historical, sociological, then we have the philosophical, the reasons behind what we do. And finally, we have the psychological foundation. How do we reason? How do we learn? And therefore, in this case, anybody who has done education, who is a professional teacher, has done a course called Psychological Basis of Teaching and Learning. We normally call it Psychology of Education or Educational Psychology. The full A is that it is called Psychological Basis of Teaching and Learning. Every teaching that we do, every learning that we want children to have, there are psychological bases that underline those things. So as a teacher, you must be equipped with this. And let me bring it just to this. We are doing the term system, the trimester, that is how we call it, the trimester. Then all of a sudden, GES and Ministry of Education says that we are going for the semester system, 2-semester system. Okay. What was the question we are asking is, what is the basis of this policy? Is there any research that has shown that the previously practiced trimester had a challenge? And how does the research favor the 2-semester system? That is the question we are trying to find answers. We don't have it. So that is why we are saying that our policies are not driven by research. And Reginald, the truth of the matter is that this is not the first time we are introducing the semester system. I'm happy that the public now, they are eye-open and they are talking about it. JHS, they have done the semester system. The JHS, they have done it. And we all, those of us who are into education, we saw the consequences. There is something we call the diminishing returns. The cons people do it. When you are thirsty and you get water, the first 2 cups you enjoy, the third, the fourth, then you are losing the joy, the taste of it. So when children stay in school for long, they will lose the diminishing returns will set in. Not only people are just focusing on the learners, but the teachers teaching continuously for 4 months, 5 months. What we call their output, diminishing returns will set in, and we will not get the efficiency from them. The learners who are the end of whatever that we are doing, they will also not get the best. So for children, Reginald, the children that we are talking about, we are looking at the primary system. The basic system comprises 2 years of KG, KG1, KG2, 2 years, then 6 years of primary, then 3 years of the JHS, making the 11 years. And if you look at this, you will see that the KG, they are also going to do the semester system. And KG comprises 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds, according to the normal school going age. 4 years, you are at KG1, 5 years, KG2, 6 years, class 1. And just imagine these, they are the early childhood, and they're going to school continuously for 4-5 months. There's something we call attention deficit. That is why when you go to the KGs, when children are learning, you cannot teach children for 2 hours, trust me. After the first hour, the rest is non-score. There is lack of attention or simply attention deficit. So that is why at the KG system, it is structured in such a way that it is learn and play. So after some A, B, C, D, and they recite, they go out, they play, then they come back and start, and then they go. You cannot, children don't have that energy. So to introduce this at the basic level, to introduce this at the primary level, we don't get it. We don't see the basis of it. We don't see the psychological basis of this teaching approach. And therefore, we are worried for this generation. So we think and we plead that the ministry should come again. We are happy that they have given a release that they are going to relook at it and not. We don't even need to get to this stage. We don't need to get to this stage to introduce semester system for KG 5 and 4 year olds, 6, 7. If you look at the primary, it is from 6 to 12. It doesn't work. I'm sure all of us are graduates, or let me say those that are graduates from Legon Tech, UCC, Winneba, Valley View, all the institutions. Even the 4-semester system and the 4-month, the 2-semester system for these adults who are taught with what we call the andragogy, methods of teaching adults. It's even difficult for them. How come these PDs? It's a difficult situation, and therefore we think that something needs to be done about it. It will be difficult for the teachers, it will be difficult for the students to be able to absorb or get it efficiently. That's why I was saying that we don't just need to tick the box that we have introduced a semester system at the basic. At the end of the day, what is the effect? What is the outcome? We need to know. And we say that we can say on authority that it will not be effective, learning will not be effective, it will not be efficient because children have attention deficit, and to learn continuously for 5 months, it will be difficult for them.
Well, Mr. Manfo, many thanks for your time. But before we wrap up, let's look at the last penultimate paragraph in the release. It says, finally, we hope that there will be continuous engagement with all relevant stakeholders on the issues of importance and constructive. It goes on and on. Now, GES always says that they engage stakeholders. They say they conduct a broader stakeholder consultation. However, at the end of that broader stakeholder consultation, which the same release is seeking a continuation of, it seems that when GES comes out with the policies after the consultations, we have the teachers kicking against it. How do we bridge this gap?
Yes, Reginald. So I think your question is more of irony of the situation.
Exactly.
That you have consulted, you have done a broader stakeholder consultation, but at the end of the day, these stakeholders that are known, for example, one, parents, two, teachers.
All right, so we have Mr. Manfo, we have you back on the line. These networks, they're asking that we register, but the network sometimes let's continue. I think they also need broader stakeholder consultation in some areas. All the same, let's continue in the face of education.
Yes. So I was saying that the teachers, the parents who are going to pay for not as in cash or whatever, but who are going to pay for the education of their children need to be consulted. The teachers who are going to carry out or implement these policies need to be consulted. Then the learners. And I was saying that, Reginald, the truth of the matter is that there can never be a school without learners. There can be a school without teachers. There can be a school without a headmaster. There can be a school without a building. That's why we have schools under trees. But there can never be a school anywhere without learners or students. But most of the times, education policies come out without finding a way to consult. So in this case, what research was done to find out the efficacy of the learners to withstand this 4 months or 20 weeks continuous learning. So I think that, like you rightly said, we need to do, the GS and the Ministry of Education should come again and do a broader stakeholder consultation, a deeper one, of course, so that at the end of the day, teachers are complaining, parents are complaining, CSOs are complaining. It is only the ministry and GS that think that the semester system is good. We don't know where they draw their data from. We don't know where this policy is coming from. For the first time, there was a school calendar committee, and we don't know where they made these consultations to come out with this. They should review it and for the learners to get the best of learning.
Well, Mr. Manfo, I'm very grateful for your time this evening. And I must say that you've added some skin and some flesh to the documents that you brought out. And I'm looking forward to having the full data that was gathered by IFES. Kudos to you guys at IFES, and kudos to yourself, Mr. Barnabas Adeng Amanfo. I'm grateful for your time.
Thank you very much, Reginald, and your viewers.
Wow, we'll have some more conversations with you, hopefully, this time a face-to-face conversation, so that we can have a more in-depth analysis of the educational sector in the country, a bigger sector that, in fact, all the time in the world may not be enough to find out ways to straighten. Big thank you to you once again.
Thank you very much.
So, well, that was Mr. Barnabas Addy Amanfo. He's a research fellow with IFEST, and interesting pointers he has highlighted to us there. I'm hoping that as a nation, we would pay straight attention to such good works that societies or research organizations like IFEST have been putting out, and together hear the cry of Ghanaians, especially parents, teachers, yourself, and myself. They say that to break or make a nation, you would have to perhaps target education. Education is that particular key that shapes the minds of the people. When the minds are shaped, trust me, you would understand that there is no other weapon as sharp, as brilliant, as rigid, as turgid as a well-learned mind. My name is Reginald Addy, and this has been PM Ghana. Of course, I promise to serve you with nothing but the best, and I believe that you've picked out those best items, pointers from this very conversation. We'll bring you some more conversation when we see you on Tuesday. Till then, stick and stay with us on Adwa Television. I'll see you. Have a lovely evening.
Mother sueña biomo, eniga sueña cansa jidi sueña yo. Eniga fuego, maye bia maye. Ya bomose, ya bomose, ya mabwa mo. Eniga fumo mo. Osabere mamo mo. Okubano mwere kumo